All right, we're back with episode 38 and a very special Tuesday evening Greenwich Good News game plan with Coach Joe Kelly. Hey,
Oh,
Joe.
hi, Tim. I'm so excited about today's show. I'm sorry about the repeat on the shirt, but since it's a campaign related show in all the positive ways, it's the only red, white, and blue, strictly red, white, and blue Hawaiian shirt I have in my collection. So I wore it around 4th of July time, and I'm happy to wear it again. So that's the good news on the shirt. Tim, what's good news going on with you?
The good news is I'm back from my little break, my vacation where I went upstate, and I got back into the pool. I went down to the Byron pool, and everything is looking good. The place is still standing, even though I wasn't there for the last 5 days. So that's my good news. But I'm fresh out of anything with more details because I wasn't here.
Well, that's always good news. And we had our beach sculpture last weekend. That was a little fun. Drove by there, checked out some of the beach operations down there where they made their sandcastles and all that sort of fun stuff. So that was great. Town's buzzing. Here we are in the summertime. Everyone's out. Everyone's happy. Weather's turning good. So getting out to the beaches, just getting around the community. Greenwich Avenue is buzzing. Go out to eat at restaurants. Everyone has our favorite. Try different ones out. The town is coming alive again, so it's all good. All good news. And Tim, a fun thing that's going on right now, which is happening this summer, which I really want to get a word out, or the word out, is basically this special election. Now, our state representative for the 36th district had issues where she had to, personal issues where she had to step down, and we're sorry to see anyone have to cut their term short, but it gave an opportunity for another election. Now, everyone has to remember, this is not a November election. This is an August 17th election, and we have both of those candidates coming on. But we're going to talk right now to Caitlin, if we could pop her on just for a second. And we're going to talk to her about the young people's perspective. Now, this is my daughter, Caitlin. She's a junior in the high school, and her young people's perspective of our political candidates. Now, Caitlin, we talked about this earlier, and I know sometimes when these candidates are talking to each other, they sometimes get angry and they don't get along, and that's not good. And I know that my little brief involvement in politics, I made a friend with my opponent rather than actually saying bad things about him. But what's your perspective on that? What are you looking for? What do you think the kids, the young people of our state look for?
Well, personally, it's hard to look up to someone who is like yelling at the other person and it's just like constant arguing. So it's hard to see like a political figure, someone who runs our country, like arguing all the time and getting really angry, because that's just not a good look, and it would reflect to like big problems in the country. And I think that like when I watch the news and when I watch like the presidential debates, it just is so hard for me to watch them because it's so cringy. Like I look at it and I'm like, oh, why are these people that are so powerful and they have such an influence on the young people, the old people, why are they arguing and why do they sound so like stupid talking to each other? And I know politics is like such a difficult topic and it talks about such hard things, but that's why I think that making it more positive when we talk about it would make such a better influence on people.
Well, I could not agree with you more, and especially in the local politics where you'll get to see your people walking down the street every single day or quite often. So here we have two fine candidates, two nice people who are running against each other, and hopefully they can certainly, I know, I'm fully confident because we talked about them coming on the Good News Show, knowing that it's only about good news. So let's bring Alex Gevanter. Did I say that right, Alexis? Sorry, Alexis Gevanter.
Alexis Gevanter. Yes, thanks, Joe.
And we have Ryan Fazio coming on. I'm horrible with pronouncing names. I'm dyslexic, so I just mess up names. But we have we'll get Ryan coming on in a minute. I guess he's having connection problems, but we'll get him on in a minute. But now we assume that the positivity that Caitlin just talked about is going to be certainly brought into this program, and we're excited to hear what you have to say. So, Alexis, if you could give us a little bit about yourself, all the positive stuff, the good stuff about you, and then we'll go to Ryan once he reconnects.
Amazing. Well, thank you, Joe, Tim, Caitlin, and Ryan when he's back for having me on this show. I am so excited to be here today. And I just love the premise of this show. I love good news. I am a mom of 2 young boys, 4 and 2 years old. And Caitlin, I just couldn't agree with you more. A culture of civility and friendliness and listening to and exactly right, Joe, to your neighbors, so that we can all work together towards solving the problems that are facing, all of us. It's not that it's easy times, but that the way to get past that is together. And so I am just thrilled to be here on this show and to tell you all a little bit more about myself. And hi, Ryan. Sorry you missed that, but it's nice to be here with you today.
Ryan, that's good. Now we're going to go right into Alexis. We asked you to bring some good news from Greenwich on, and then we're going to give Ryan a chance to talk a little about himself to the audience. But tell us a little about the good news that you're bringing onto the show, because it is the good news program.
Absolutely. So I'll just tell you very briefly about myself, and it's all really great stuff that I'm excited to share, and some good news coming from the campaign and in Greenwich. So I am a business attorney, a gun violence prevention advocate, and as I mentioned, a mom of 2 young boys, who brings people together to find common ground and bring about change. So I have spent my life advocating for others. As a lawyer, I advise businesses on instituting fair employment practices while helping them grow and remain profitable. And then as the Connecticut state leader of Moms Demand Action, I work to keep our communities and our children safe. So during my time with Moms, I am really proud that we have passed numerous gun safety and gun violence prevention bills in a wide bipartisan fashion. And again, that's from working together. So including a ban on ghost guns, safe storage requirements, and investment in community-based violence intervention programs. So now I am running to be the next state senator for the 36th district, representing all of Greenwich and parts of New Canaan and parts of Stamford. And I'm sorry.
Oh, no, I'm just saying, and that's all good news. Thank you for that.
Yeah, thanks. So I'm proud to have earned the unanimous endorsement of the Democratic Party. And the best news ever is so many volunteers have signed up to phone bank, canvas, and text. I would say the only bad news is that you may hear I am losing my voice from talking to so many voters. Apologies if I'm a bit
I remember that from campaigning myself. The voice just goes. It goes. Now, thank you for that. And thank you for all the good work you do, because I know that running for state senator, you're not doing it for the money. That's for sure, because it's not a lot. So, Ryan, give us a background on yourself. You've been on the show before. We've known each other for a while, but we might have a different audience tonight. We usually do. It's a bunch of different folks tuning on. So, Ryan, give us some good news about yourself, and then we'll ask both of you guys to just talk specific good news about our 36th district as well.
Yeah, it's great to see everyone tonight. It's great to meet Alexis, I think, for the first time now. It's a very exciting time, obviously, for both of us and the district. I grew up in Greenwich. I went to through the school system here, as some of you know. I've worked in renewable energy in Stamford and been an active volunteer in inner city schools, as well as in town delivering meals to some of our homebound elderly. Some good news that I just got today is one of the gentlemen I delivered to is now off his walker from a hip surgery he had. So that's some good news I got today. And I also sit on the Greenwich RTM and on the Greenwich Energy Efficiency Committee, which aims to improve the environment and reduce energy costs in town. So that's a bit of my background. I think some of the viewers probably know it, but I'm also having a great summer now because we got this exciting election, and it's always a great experience to talk with voters and meet new people.
Well, it's not a usual election. It's quite a unique election because as I went through the one with the state rep, our convention to nominate the delegate was months and months before the actual election. You guys are not going through the marathon, which is the usual. You're going through the sprint. So that's good. Now, what I would like to hear is your favorite things about the 36th district. I want to hear, Alexis, we'll start with you because, I mean, there's been hordes of people crossing the New York City border, or New York State border to come to our wonderful 36th district as well as the rest of our state. Real estate prices are booming. There's just people moving in with the right attitude, the positive attitude. So what are some of your favorite things about the district that you guys hope to represent, starting with Alexis?
It's almost too much to count. I love living here. It has just been wonderful to raise my children here. My husband worked here. It has just been, it's amazing. I think the sense of community is really special, including with all of the newcomers. You know, they are just involved from day one. You know, they're all about town and all the new restaurants, the outdoor dining. And I mean, I suppose if I had to pick a favorite, it would have to be Todd's Point, which is just incredible. I was there on Saturday, or Sunday actually, with my two boys, and having the concession stand open again and having some chicken fingers, it doesn't really get better than that. Yeah.
Fantastic. That's good stuff. Ryan, what's your favorite thing about the 36th district? Just about what goes on, the activities, the people, all the great stuff that people are flocking to our town about. Give us some good stuff about the 36th district.
Yeah, well, I agree with Alexis. It's almost too much to enumerate. I grew up here, so I really love this place. It's the only place I've ever considered home. Obviously, it's a great location. It's like it's the best location in the country. It's has natural beauty, as Alexis pointed out. Todd's Point, backcountry, New Canaan. It has downtown Stamford. You know, so there's so many great natural resources that we have. But I think my favorite part has to be the heart of the people and the sense of community here. And we saw that more than ever before in 2020 when we fell on the hardest times that we ever had before. And people were, you know, obviously concerned about their own health, but so many people stepped up to actually look out for people who are more vulnerable than them in the most dangerous of times, volunteering for their neighbors to help out in their community, looking out for the elderly. And the people who are less fortunate. So you know, the number one thing that I love about this district has to be the people and their hearts.
Well, one thing that was really exciting for me, talking about the tough times we went through, because we usually don't talk about the bad stuff here, like the COVID and what went on during the COVID period. But one glimmer of good news during that time was the fact that I was out, Ryan, sometimes you and I went out together knocking on doors, and some people were locked down, some people who didn't have family members, some people who would introduce me to their dog or their cat and say, "Hi, this is so-and-so. Can you please talk to us for a little while?" And we're masked up and we have the things on and we're staying as far back as we can. But it was so, I mean, some people didn't want us anywhere near because they thought we were carriers of the COVID. But other people were just so lonely and just was so happy to have those conversations. I remember trying to go out for 3 hours, hoping to hit about 50 or 60, maybe optimistically 100 doors, and getting caught in that 45-minute conversation and really feeling I accomplished. Maybe I didn't get a lot of votes, but I certainly I helped somebody out there. That was a very interesting experience during that time. But so it was really interesting going out and doing that and knocking on doors. And you guys are doing it now, large scale, every day. And hopefully people are receiving you well and happy to see you guys. Now, one thing I'm going to ask, and as I said, I didn't prepare you guys, nor do we ever prepare this show about what we're going to do. I'd like, Alexis, can you ask Ryan a question about himself, a nice friendly question, because you guys will now be competing against each other. And sometimes you might find yourselves in the League of Women Voters, maybe not looking to get to know each other, but maybe looking to win one up on the other one. This is not about that. So I'm going to put you both on the spot. And Alexis, you have the choice to either ask the question first or defer it to Ryan. If that's, what would you think?
Sure, I'll go first. Why not? What's your favorite sport?
Baseball. Oh man, easy question. Baseball. I played baseball growing up in Greenwich, and I played on the high school team. I did hit a home run on the varsity team in high school, and a lot of people are still talking about it. So, I thank you for the softball.
Coach Kelly, I figured let's talk sports.
That's a good topic for me. I know a lot about that. I can handle that. Now, Ryan, if you could now ask Alexis a question about herself. And then you get to know her a little bit, because I'll repeat, you guys are meeting for the first time tonight. Is that correct?
Yep. Yeah, that's right. I'll ask you, actually, if I may, two questions. One different than the other. One, I guess, along similar lines. What's one of your favorite hobbies, or what's your favorite hobby? And the second would be, what's your favorite restaurant in the 36th district?
Well, that's a tough one. All right. Favorite hobby. I love to run. So that's fun. I don't have much time to do it, but when I get a chance, I absolutely love to go running. And so that's pretty great. So canvassing is fun because at least
now you're running. Now you're really running.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, that's even yeah. I mean, let's call it a soft jog. Yeah. And favorite restaurant? Oh my gosh, that's a really tough one.
That's an unfair question. I feel like
I was going to say I was going to call foul on that one because that's a dangerous one. Yes,
that's actually unfair. If you don't want to answer it, you don't have to.
Well, it would be hard to because I have to run because I love to eat. So there's a lot of good restaurants.
So that's good. So okay, so we found out hobbies, we found out sports, and we're going to go a second round. Now maybe to get to know each other a little bit more, because I know that first one was just basically a very surface question. So now we'll ask a little bit. I promise this will be the last one. Then we're going through another topic, but this will be another one. Alexis, once again, you have the chance to ask the question or defer it to Ryan, and then take it back after he asks another question. Which one do you choose?
Well, I guess it's only fair to flip it. So Ryan, you can go first this time. So.
Okay, here's a question. Maybe now we'll talk because Joe's in town government, and so if you could serve on any town body in the town government, which would it be? What piques your interest?
Well, I suppose the RTM. I'm really interested in being in a legislature, so I think that would really interest me.
That's a good answer because the RTM is a great body. My wife serves on the RTM. Ryan, you serve on the RTM, and you have for some time. And really, the fact that people put their hands up and the amount of effort and time people put in to the RTM, I know that now that it's Zoom and some of these RTM meetings go late, I'm sitting in bed, and I've got to be laying in bed with usually my wife, but then also now the whole RTM is in bed with me in Zoom. So it makes for an interesting evening as I doze off. So
I don't know what to say to that.
I'm going to get yelled at by my wife again, aren't I, Ryan? Did I goof again? Oh well, she does yell at me from time to time, but that's okay. Now, Alexis, it's your turn to ask Ryan a question. Of course, a nice, friendly, polite question, because this is the Good News Polite Show.
What would I like to learn about you? Where is your favorite place you've traveled to?
Oh gosh, that's a good question. Alexis asks better questions than I do. I really do love going to Europe, and it's a very cliche answer to say Paris, but I just think it is actually like one of the most beautiful places I've ever seen. I did when I was a college student, though. I did study abroad in Prague, and I think the beauty of that city. And the architecture in that city it makes it truly, I think, one of the underrated great cities in the world. So I guess I'll say those two.
Perfect. That's good, because those are two great places. I worked in London for 8 years, and I ran a business that had we had to travel to see clients throughout Europe on a regular basis. And I'd have to go to Paris probably every 2 weeks, maybe every 3 weeks. And it was just every time you go there, you walk down a different street, and there's just so many things to see. It's great. And Prague itself, I've only been to Prague once, but when you take the boat ride down the river and see the awesome architecture and everything lit up, it's just really nice.
Yeah, so, Alexis, what would your answer have been to that question?
Well, I have to say those are two pretty amazing cities. I love them both. I love London. My husband's from London, so I'm a huge fan of London. I also really love Budapest. Also, just fascinating city, beautiful architecture, such a confluence of different cultures. I really love Budapest. But yeah, I didn't really know the answer to the question before I asked it.
That was perfect. I've been fortunate with my career. I've been there as well, and that's also a wonderful place to go to. Really eclectic, kind of unique. They have those grunge parties. Did you get to go to one of those grunge parties? They have these bars that have these broken down old buildings, and they make them into these nightclubs. It's kind of cool. It's really fun. So it's like a tradition there. There's a long story to it, but we won't go into that one because it's not about me. It's about you guys. So now, with the Q&A, we're done with that. So thank you very much. You guys were so nice and so polite to each other. Now, what I'd like you to talk about, if you could, is we'll talk about what positive change, or not, doesn't necessarily have to be the change. It could be a positive influence you hope to have, one pet project you have that's certainly positive that you want to work on if you get elected to the center of the 36th district? What are the positive things that will help the whole community? Undecideds, Republicans, Democrats, Coach Kelly. What is something that you're going to want to work on to make things good? Alexis?
Sure. I mean, so I'm going to cheat a little because I don't just have one, but I hope that's okay. But what I would like to do is really focus on three things. Public safety and public health being the first, prosperity being the second, and progress being the third. And of course, those are three buckets. But what I'd like to do is grow the economy by lowering taxes and bringing businesses, continuing to bring businesses in Connecticut. So to continue the good work, the good news about what Ned Lamont has done as we emerge from the pandemic. I want to keep our children safe from gun violence and our families safe from the pandemic. And so to continue to make sure that they are safe in their schools and their playgrounds and in their homes, that's obviously something I'm very passionate about and I would continue to work on in the legislature. And then in terms of progress, I just think, continue to advance all the social issues that are important to the people of the 36th district, including equality, women's rights, the environment, investing in our schools. So sorry, that's a lot, but
Well, that's a trifecta of wonderful good things. So I guess, Ryan, you have the choice now. You could select one thing that it's going to be a positive impact, or you could select three because we expanded off the one. So it's your choice what you'd like to talk about as far as positive impact you're going to have on the 36th district if elected to the role of our senator.
Yeah, I want to create hope and optimism for the future of Connecticut. I want this to be the destination in the country that everyone wants to move towards. Connecticut has been hurting for a long time. We have the fourth lowest rate of economic growth over the last 13 years in the state. But I think the good news is the future can be brighter than ever before if only we bring a positive change to our state. We have the best people. We have the best location. We have strong communities. We have so many great resources at our disposal. So I really, truly believe that the sky is the limit for Connecticut if only we bring positive change and reform to our state government first.
Well, I'm a businessman. I run two businesses here in town. One is an international business. One is, not really in town, but our headquarters is here. And I chose to move to Greenwich 23 years ago because I chose to move here. I choose to stay here. I can move any place I want to because my business can just pick up and go. But I choose to stay here. So I hope that you guys, when elected, I could say that because both you guys are running. So we have a third candidate, don't we? And that third candidate could pull some votes in, who knows, but we'll certainly see what he can do. But it's more likely than not that somebody I'm speaking to right now is going to be the next senator for our 36th district. So I look forward to, you both talked about prosperity. I'm looking forward to that. You both talked about economic positive growth. That's certainly very important to me. These are things that are important. Your positivity is great. Please, one thing I ask of you guys, please stay positive. Make sure that when you walk down Greenwich Avenue and you see each other after this whole thing is over, you could greet each other. Buy each other. I know Steve Mesker still owes me a dinner. He told me we made an agreement. Whoever wins buys the other one dinner. Steve hasn't fulfilled that obligation yet, so he has not fulfilled all of his campaign promises. So we have to make sure he does that. So hopefully the same thing happens with you guys. Good luck. And thanks very much. Ryan said he has to take off. He's got a hard stop at 8:25. Alexis, thanks for joining us. And we'll see you guys. Happy campaigning. Don't work too hard. The sun's shining. It's beating down on you, but make people happy when you're talking to them, please.
Thank you. And I spent the morning with Steve Mesker. I'm going to make sure he gets you that dinner next time I see him.
Absolutely. That'd be great.
Good to see you both. Good to meet you, Alexis. We'll see you on the trail.
Nice to meet you. Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Guys. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Tim, how about that? What do you think?
All right. Very well. Very good. It was nice. I'm glad they got along. No, but it's good. They never met, it was great. We could put them together so that it's not just politics out there. I'm sure she appreciates Ryan and Ryan appreciates her for what she believes in, and they can move forward and get things done in a respectful way.
Well, they seem two different people. One is representing obviously the Republican Party. One is representing the Democratic Party. They probably, as I always said when I speak to people about my dabbling in politics, and I said, we probably agree on 95% of the things. It's the 5% of the things we disagree on. Yeah. And for people to engage in that negative conversation about that 5% creates the hostility. And it creates the inability for people to have discourse. It stops people from having good conversations. We have to build a relationship, I think, in my opinion, in my humble opinion, for what that's worth. We need to have a conversation like we just did. Let Alexis meet Ryan, let them talk a little bit. They can build on what they have in common, and then identify with respect towards each other and towards the community what they differ on. And then the voters, whether Republican, Democrat, or unaffiliated, can then make their judgment based on that, building a relationship and then identifying how they're different. I think they're both fine candidates, and we'll certainly keep our eye on this election. But the most important thing is we have to remind everyone to vote on August 17th. You could write in earlier. You have to apply for your, I believe you have to apply for your ballot. You write a letter in, or I don't know how exactly it works. We probably should have done that before we got on, but basically I should have realized that. But you can certainly, on August 17th at your voting station, you can go cast your vote for either one of these candidates, or that other one too, John Blankley, right? Is that his name, Tim?
I think so. You caught me there. I don't know.
My wife said I said Blakely last time, but it's Blankley, and also Katie DeLuca's dad. So, maybe he'll be kind enough to come join us on the show sometime in the near future. We could bring him on as well. I'll have to give him a call. What do you think, Tim? We should give him a chance to talk in a positive way and bring some good news to Good News Game Plan as well. What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. We did. I just got in a question that Lawler said how your specific work experience qualify you as a state senator. So we'll have to have them back on so they can answer that question, because this is from the audience. And then Michelle said, thank you for your positive focus, and it's so necessary these days. So people are watching and contributing, and I think we did a good job introducing the two of them to each other and to everyone else on the trail who might not get a knock on the door.
And let them have their disagreements on certain issues in the League of Women Voters debate or whatever other ones they might have. And hopefully they respect each other and treat each other nicely. And I was happy to make the intro, and now we'll move forward. So Tim, thank you very much. I think this was a great opportunity to present both our candidates for the 36th district, which is all of Greenwich, part of Stamford and part of New Canaan, introducing them to those potential voters. August 17th, vote.
Sounds good. All right. I'll see you next week.
Thanks, Tim. We'll see you. Bye-bye.